What if the internet, the invisible glue that holds our modern lives together, vanished overnight? No more Instagram scrolls, no more Netflix binges, and brace yourselves, no more funny TikTok dances. What would happen to your life, to the world? I know, it sounds like a nightmare. But what if I told you that this could actually happen? No more scrolling through endless feeds, no more online shopping, and goodbye to those memes you can't stop sharing with your friends. The internet that connects us all from one side of the globe to the other is gone, forever. In today's world, we rely on it for everything. We work on it. We socialize on it. Heck, some of us even live on it, but what happens when this all-powerful tool we take for granted disappears? It's not just about losing Wi-Fi, it's about losing an entire way of life. So join me as we dive into a world without the internet. How it begins, the chaos it causes, and whether humanity can actually survive in this new, disconnected reality. What would be the immediate impact? The moment the internet disappears, the world doesn't just slow down, it crashes. Offices turn into chaotic wastelands of panicked employees staring at blank computer screens. Schools become eerily quiet as students realize they can't just Google the answers. And social media, well, that just ceases to exist. Imagine millions of influencers left staring at their cameras, wondering what to do next. Tragic. But this isn't just about inconvenience. Banks can't process transactions. Online businesses shut down instantly. And in what might be the greatest crisis of all, food delivery apps stop working. Society, as we know it, starts to crack. People rush to ATMs, only to find that digital banking is, well, digital. News stations struggle to broadcast updates, relying on radio like it's 1930 again. The streets are suddenly full of people looking for answers the old-fashioned way, by actually talking to each other. Weird, right? Governments scramble to control the chaos, but without real-time communication, misinformation spreads like wildfire. Is it a cyber attack? A government cover-up? Or did someone just trip over the world's biggest power cord? And just when people think it can't get any worse, they realize there's no more cat videos. Truly, the darkest timeline. Communication. It's what keeps everything running smoothly, right? But what happens when that breaks down? The internet is more than just a place for memes and online shopping. It's the backbone of global communication. And without it, things start falling apart fast. Instant messages, emails, video calls, all gone. Businesses can't coordinate, families lose touch, and governments, well, they're practically flying blind. Social media, once a fire hose of breaking news, is now silent. No tweets, no updates, no influencers live streaming their panic. People turn to TV and radio hoping for information the old-fashioned way. And it gets worse. Airlines depend on online systems for air traffic control. Hospitals rely on digital records. Supply chains run on internet-based logistics. Suddenly, flights are grounded, hospitals scramble to access patient data, and shipments sit in warehouses with nowhere to go. It's like civilization is running on a slow-motion crash course. Without the internet, coordination crumbles, and that's just the beginning. And if you think people are handling this well, you might want to reconsider. What happens when the world's digital lifeline is suddenly cut off? Let's talk about the global consequences. The internet isn't just a luxury, it's the nerve center of the global economy. Without it, things spiral quickly. Stock markets? Yeah, they're basically frozen. No updates, no trades. The chaos is practically refreshing if you like living on the edge. Governments are scrambling, trying to figure out if this is just a glitch or something far worse. Is the entire world falling apart? Or is it just them? And if it's an attack, well, that's a whole new level of panic. Fear of war starts creeping in, as every country wonders if they're being targeted, or if it's everyone, and no one knows who to trust. Military communications are shot. No secure lines, no intel sharing. Countries are left to guess if their neighbors are affected, or if they're gearing up for war. It's like every nation's on the brink, but no one knows where the cliff is. Meanwhile, economies collapse. Banks can't access digital transactions. Stock markets are on hold. E-commerce is dead in the water. And don't even think about international trade. Ports are clogged, and without the internet, goods are just sitting there. Meanwhile, people are hoarding toilet paper. Again. With no digital systems, governments start rolling back to old-school methods. But even the best fax machines and landlines are starting to show their age. Leaders can't coordinate effectively, and fear of a worldwide economic meltdown keeps people on edge. What's the next move? No one knows. So, we're talking about social impact and psychological effects now. Yeah, this is where the fun starts. Or doesn't. Let's dive in. People aren't just confused, they're panicking. In a world where the internet has been everything from a news source to a lifeline, its sudden disappearance is a massive shock to the system. Imagine going from constant notifications to complete silence. And you know what's funny? People are actually talking to each other again. Social media influencers, gone. The influencers of the past, talking face to face like real humans. It's like we've just time traveled to a pre-digital age minus the charm. But let's be real, it's not all social nostalgia. Without the distractions of the online world, mental health takes a hard hit. Anxiety and uncertainty become the new normal. You can't escape into your phone anymore. Your thoughts are your only company, and trust me, they're not always friendly. And just when things couldn't get more bizarre, there are the conspiracy theorists. You'd think we had an apocalypse on our hands with all the talk of government control and foreign attacks. Who knew the internet crashing could inspire so much paranoia? But hey, it's not all bad. Kids, for example, they're over here playing hide and seek and tag like nothing's changed. No Wi-Fi? No problem. They're still running around making up games, and probably learning more from real-world interaction than any app could teach them. Maybe we could all take a page from that playbook. In all this chaos, one thing's clear. People don't know how to cope without the familiar buzz of the internet. Is it the beginning of the end, or just a wake-up call we're not ready for? So, a new way of life. Sounds hopeful, right? Well, let's see how that's working out. At first, people tried to hold on to their old routines. Meetings at 9, emails at 10, doom scrolling at 11, except no internet. So what do? They improvise. Offices start using landlines, people dust off ancient things called encyclopedias, and somehow carrier pigeons don't seem like such a bad idea anymore. But some people are actually adapting. Local businesses thriving. Farmers markets booming, bartering, making a comeback. Your Wi-Fi went down, but hey, now you can trade tomatoes for toilet paper. Progress? And social life? Let's just say family game nights are back in full force. No one can stream their shows, so they're forced to interact. Board games, storytelling, even, brace yourself, eye contact. It's a terrifying new world. Of course, not everyone is handling it well. Some are still staring at blank phone screens, hoping for a miracle. Others are writing down their thoughts in actual notebooks, like it's the 1800s. And then there are the ones who have just disappeared. Rumor has it they're out there, touching grass. But let's be honest, this isn't some feel-good movie where everyone just magically adjusts. Businesses relying on e-commerce are gone. Remote jobs, not so remote anymore. And the tech industry? Well, let's just say computer engineers are suddenly getting very familiar with manual labor. In the end, society is split. Some embracing the change, some barely hanging on, and some still pressing refresh, hoping the internet gods will answer. So, is this a new way of life, or just a really long buffering screen? So, the internet's been down for a while now, and people are asking the big question, can we bring it back, or is it gone forever? Like your dignity after sending a risky text. Governments, scientists, and tech experts are scrambling to find a solution. Satellites, still up there. Undersea cables, damaged but repairable. The problem? No one's sure where to even start. Rebuilding a global network from scratch isn't exactly a weekend DIY project. Some countries take the lead, trying to create their own mini-internets, isolated, government-controlled networks. It's not quite the same, but hey, at least they can check the weather again. Others attempt to revive old-school communication systems. Think radio broadcasts and televised news updates. Welcome back to the 20th century. And of course, there's the black market. If there's demand, there's supply. Tech geniuses start setting up underground networks, secret satellite connections, even makeshift local internets. It's sketchy, it's unreliable, but for some, it's the only option. But let's be real. Even if we could bring the internet back, would it ever be the same? After months, maybe years of living without it, do people even want the old system again? Or is this the chance to build something better? So, could the internet be rebuilt? Maybe. Should it be rebuilt? Well, that's a whole other question. So, what's the takeaway here? Well, it's safe to say that the internet is a lot more fragile than we thought. We've all been living in this digital bubble, assuming it's always going to be there. And when it's gone? Well, turns out we don't remember how to function without it. It's like taking away coffee from an office worker. Total disaster. But in all seriousness, this scenario has shown us the importance of digital resilience. We can't just keep building our lives on a foundation of everything is online forever. That's a dangerous game to play. What happens if it all crashes again? We need to make sure we're prepared for when the Wi-Fi goes down because, spoiler, it will. Now, was this a wake-up call or a warning? Honestly, it's probably both. On one hand, it's a warning that we're way too dependent on the internet. On the other, it's a wake-up call to stop taking it for granted. Do we want to rebuild the same old internet, or should we take this opportunity to do things better? Personally, I think it's time for a little more digital flexibility, just in case the Wi-Fi gods get grumpy again. So, yeah, maybe this is the nudge we needed. To prepare, to rethink, and maybe, just maybe, to enjoy a day without being glued to screens. Could be a nice change, right? Or at least an interesting experiment. Thanks for watching, everyone. If you liked it, please like and subscribe.